Thanks, Rachel. And with triple digits in the forecast, Snowpocalypse 2017 seems like a distant memory, but Idaho anglers are still feeling the impact of all that snow. The massive runoff that caused our rivers to swell made the migration to Idaho from the Pacific Ocean difficult for Chinook salmon. The number of salmon returning to Idaho this year is less than half of the 10-year average, and fewer fish mean less income for people in river communities. In a normal year, from late May through most of June, this is what the banks of the Little Salmon River look like every day of the week. Hundreds of anglers spending hour after hour drifting bait and lures through the high water, each one hoping for the adrenaline rush that comes when a spring Chinook salmon hits.
You know there's a bite, you set the hook, and then you just kind of hold on.
Sometimes you don't hang on for very long.
Oh!
The powerful ocean-going salmon use the strong current to their advantage, and often the hook comes loose or the line breaks. But occasionally, an angler is able to overcome the odds and coax a Chinook into the net. When salmon are in the river, people come from all over Idaho and neighboring states, filling the streets of Riggins and pumping money into the local economy.
When the salmon are here, it's just bumper-to-bumper cars. Hard to find a parking spot. You know, a lot of traffic on the road. When the salmon are not running, you get a car every 30 seconds drive through here. You know, I mean, it's totally different.
High water heavily impacted this year's salmon run.
The salmon couldn't get over the dams. It was too much water for the fish ladders. And anything over about 50,000, they have a hard time. An area down here we call the slide in the salmon, and there's so much force and hydraulics down there they couldn't come. So they didn't even open the commercial season. They closed it before we even started fishing.
73-year-old Leonard Hansen has been guiding in the area for decades. This spring was a tough one for his business, Rubicon Adventures.
We took a major hit. I'm down about 35 float trips this year just because of the no fishing.
Hansen says outfitters were not the only ones missing out.
And nobody comes to eat, nobody comes to the motels, nobody camps because there's no fishing.
But there is a silver lining. Because of the same high water that hurt the salmon run, parts of the big salmon, like this stretch known as Ruby Rapids, are attracting more whitewater enthusiasts. Hansen hopes that will help his bottom line.
No matter what, we're all going to go floating. You love it, you know.
Meanwhile, the limited fishery continues on the Little Salmon River. Anglers are allowed to fish Thursday through Sunday, but fishing is not easy. During that same 4-day period last week, anglers put in an average of more than 20 hours for every salmon they took home. And Riggins isn't the only community suffering from low salmon counts. The Clearwater River was closed to fishing very early, and for the first time in many years there will be no salmon fishing on the South Fork salmon outside of Cascade or the Upper Salmon in Lemhi and Custer counties.